So this is the Shnerd reviews. We haven't done this one of these in a while. So
Yep.
Spider-Man with the Spideyverse.
Yep.
We just saw Avengers Endgame with all the hype and the buzz, and just a lot happened and a lot didn't happen. And yeah, it was really a lot to process. So spoilers for anybody who doesn't want to know anything.
Get the fuck out. If you don't want to know anything.
So I guess first off, before we go on our crazy rants and rambles, let's first explain the movie. So the way it starts off is exactly it left off with everybody
being gone.
Yeah, with Tony Stark in space.
Yeah.
He gets picked up by other than who, Captain Marvel.
Yep.
You know.
She had to carry him home.
Exactly.
Like an infant.
And he had like the crazy freak
Also,
out.
that was one thing I noticed in the very beginning that kind of was a little weird. They were thousands of light years away from Earth, and she just carries their ship back in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, dude.
I was like, she has instant transmission?
It's our 5-second time.
You know what I mean? It was kind of weird that they just kind of were like, don't pay attention to this, but we're back on Earth now.
Yeah, and it makes you're right, because it makes it seem it does make it seem like it goes by quick, because he seemed like he was about to die.
Yeah.
Tony Stark seemed like he was on death's
He was like losing all of his strength. He was like, I need to take
How
over
did she
rest.
even give him oxygen?
She didn't. She carried his ship back to Earth.
Oh, just that
whole ship.
Yeah, thousands of light. That's why I was like, what?
So they land on Earth, and like Iron Man is all PTSD.
I know.
Like he is not Iron Man at this point. He's like Iron Baby.
Getting fucking what's his name? Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Captain America kind of deserved it.
Yeah.
I don't know. They went into a like
Civil War. They had some bad blood.
They just came back from like a horrible battle. Like all of them did, and they all experienced horrible things. And for the record, Tony Stark at this point of the movie, for anybody listening,
he's broken.
He's super broken, and blaming being broken on Captain America, even though in Infinity Wars, it was Iron Man's decision to go after Peter and jump onto that ship and then go to Titan.
Well, Peter followed Iron Man.
He tried to get him off,
Yeah.
but it was Iron Man's decision to stay on that ship and go to Titan. Take Doctor Strange. Save Doctor Strange, and they keep going.
He did have
he went with
Torture
Doctor Strange.
Dude was trying to put that thing in Doctor Strange's head.
So this is where the movie takes a weird turn, and it just skips 5 years later. I was not expecting that.
Yeah,
it
jumps.
It's the beginning of the end for me. I'd like to say.
Yeah, you get to see Morgan Stark though, which is dope because that is a character. That's Iron Man's daughter, which is I thought was a
boy, right?
I thought was a boy in the cartoon.
Well, let's be honest. This is Disney. It's got to be a girl.
And you saw
the girl power. Come on.
Yeah, let's not get too far ahead.
So
they were testing the waters with Pepper.
And then what's his name comes back too. Scott Lang.
Yeah,
gets hella lucky and comes back from the quantum realm.
Yeah, hella lucky. A mouse walks on the button and turns it on.
A big thing to point out too. A big thing to point out too is that they really had a lot of missed opportunities for this, but not. I'm not going to say like too many right off the bat, but I'll explain. Right when the movie starts off, you're for some reason with Hawkeye and you see his family disappear, and then you flash forward, and Ben, you brought this up, to what could have been the most dopest intro is Ant-Man coming out of the quantum realm all of a sudden from fucking Speedy Gonzalez the Rat walking over the keyboard or whatever, and it's like it almost felt like an accident the way they made that set of beginnings. It was like, I want to know if the movie was 3 hours long, I wanted to see the director's cut, which is probably like
8 hours,
3 or 4 or whatever. Like
we also got to mention the very beginning, which kind of felt pointless.
Well, that's why we skipped it, I think, is because they're like
the Hawkeye
showing as him as Ronin.
No, not even Ronin. Just
no, him in the beginning, which is his family disappearing.
Well, it was to kind of show why he's being a dick.
Yeah.
They should. So I think they should have brought
the missed opportunity which you're talking about.
That's what I mean. Is they should have brought in either Ronin going Ronin on the cartel.
The scene with him being Ronin was weird.
But it's PG-13,
and that's 5. By the way, 5 years later, then you get to see Hawkeye be Ronin after his family disappeared, and this is when you see him just like 30 minutes after the 5 years later mark.
But they show a dude's hand get cut off, a head, a throat slit.
So Venom was.
That's the 13. That's all.
That's this dude
right there is what made it
13.
PG-13.
Yeah, and on top of it, you've seen
so
only
what makes
a guy's
it rated R?
You didn't see
Sex?
the guy's. No, you didn't see the guy's throat get
Language
cut.
too.
Slit open.
You saw the wound?
No, you seen it cut.
It's like a
Yeah.
clean
He was
cut.
still
There was no
talking.
blood or anything.
Yeah, and,
It's like
and
saving
when it did bleed, you noticed he leaned back to the shadows, and just enough shadow fell over
So
the
you couldn't
wound.
see
Yeah, so
much.
I feel like that's what. Because keep in mind, Venom had him biting heads off.
Yeah,
That
but there was cut away.
PG-13.
Yeah.
But-
So same story. So
Scott Lang comes back. They end up talking. He ends up finding the Avengers, and they all gather what's ever left of them, including Captain Marvel.
And he's
Yeah.
like, time heist, bro. Let's do it.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that is, and they say it later, but they named the show later. But I bet you they wanted to call it a Quantum Leap, but they couldn't because there's already a show called Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
So.
They probably already got sued.
yeah, what they call it, a quantum heist.
Yeah,
That
Quantum
was
Heist.
Marvel's brilliant
Right.
moment.
And then this is where it kind of took things for a weird turn because they're gathering all the Avengers, and they found Thor, and Thor was a fat ass motherfucker.
A
He was
big
a
mofo.
fucking fat ass dude.
I-
He must have wronged somebody, or he must have.
Okay,
been
so there
somebody's
was
wife.
two. I have a few quarrels with
He
that.
unfriended.
They,
That was way before though.
So
Or
they-
not
dude,
after.
they
That was-
changed it.
that
They
was way
changed
after.
it.
and
at
for
the
the
end.
record, Tony Stark is not the only one fucked up. Thor is fucked up too
Yeah.
at this point. And on
Yeah.
top of it, the strongest character you get to see in this whole movie
Did we-
is like Captain America and
Captain
Captain Marvel.
Did
Those
we-
two are the most solid
Did you
personalities.
leave out Thanos getting killed?
So far.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah.
before any of that, wait, no.
The first Thanos, right? Not the past Thanos?
Yeah, the first Thanos they
Oh
killed.
my god, it's so hard to review this.
So they
because
killed-
This is
I know.
Dragon Ball Super all over
so
again.
the first
dude.
Thanos, they cut off his head, they cut off his arm, and they find out that he was using the time stones. And he used the stones to destroy him, which they don't even really explain how he did it. Because how would you use the
Also,
time stone
why?
to destroy all the time stones?
Why?
Or the stones use all the just so it couldn't be undone. Maybe he just trying to do something and. They didn't go into it. They wasted a lot of opportunity, like cutting backstory for little stupid dad jokes and like jokes for little kids. And so they do that. Then the 5-year jump happens.
Yeah.
And then
Like,
that's
all
when
the
they
scenes
show-
with the little girl.
And just note
They're all
that
weird.
this scene when we see Thanos die is the first time.
Way
in
to
the
make a
beginning-
villain look real weak.
It wasn't that they made
Kill
him.
him instantly.
He was all fucked up and limping, and you
Yeah,
see
he could
like
barely walk.
a gimp version of like.
Yeah.
He
of-
could barely
of
walk
Thanos.
up the wooden steps.
And this is when you get to see
He
what
fucked
you
himself up
think
to
is
doing
going to
the
be
time
the
stone
best part of
or
the movie, where
stuff.
you're like, Thor is being super brutal and just beheads Thanos, right?
Yeah.
And then this 5-year jump happens. You see Captain Marvel really just cut her hair. You see
LGBT,
Scarlett
or
Johansson
LGBT
take
or
lead.
whatever.
Scarlett
she
Johansson
dyes her
takes,
hair red.
Well, no, she takes lead
That's
of the
natural red.
Avengers.
She had the blonde hair, and then she goes back to the natural red.
Yeah, so
know.
that scene when Thanos
Sure.
dies in the beginning was really like a confusing
Anticlimactic.
point. Yeah, it was a
And
confusing.
It made the
point.
villain look
I
so
guess
weak.
I think it was meant to do that just to make it seem like, oh, they did it, but it's like, now what do they do? And so this point on, it shows after the 5-year gap, it shows what Captain's doing. He's like running little
PTSD counseling.
yeah for everything else, for the whole people getting snapped. Black Widow's still trying to figure out where.
But
that,
she's
like,
the she's the
find
leader.
the stone.
She's
Yeah,
like-
and she's the leader of the
Yeah.
Avengers at this point. When they skip forward, and Captain Marvel at this point is like totally like
doing her own thing.
but like in a way that's like she said, where when the Rocket was like, "Where are you? Where have you been? Like, we're here on Earth. Like, we're doing," and her response was, Earth's not the only planet that's suffering like this. There's
Yeah.
thousands, and I'm reaching them all. And Rocket's response of like,
He was like, oh, that makes
"Oh,
sense,
you're right.
but-
That makes sense." That was actually good dialogue between Captain Marvel that gave me hope for the character, because seeing her wise in that age 5 years later, after realizing how bad this character Thanos really, all the damage that he really did.
Yeah.
Because when you first see her arrive in the movie, in the very beginning, she's arrogant. She
Yeah.
arrived, "I'm gonna go kill Thanos,"
Yeah.
and
Where
it's
you
like,
going? Go kill Thanos.
"I'm gonna go kill that bitch. You ain't gonna do shit." Like,
Yeah.
but for the record, yeah, she would have, because she flew down there and somehow managed to fly around the whole planet and realized that he's just farming.
Yeah.
So in that scene when Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, is totally like in leading the Avengers, I admired that. Lightweight was like.
I knew she was gonna fucking kill herself also, but I called it.
Let's skip it forward. Skip it forward a little bit.
Explain it
She doesn't kill herself.
I don't want to spend like a half hour just trying to explain. And
so shortly after that, after you see the Thanos and it jumps the 5-year mark, then you really start to see Tony with his family, and that's when Tony Stark is like visited by the rest of the remaining Avengers, Captain America.
Well, before even any of that, they showed Hulk. Hulk was a...
Oh, we can't skip this,
Yeah, Hulk was a pretty bad... He was
Wait,
turned into Professor Hulk.
That wasn't Professor Hulk.
Hold
was
on.
a weird-ass
Technically it was.
character.
Wait, that's not before that, because they visit Iron Man first.
He wasn't very smart.
No, they visit Iron Man.
True.
They visit Iron Man first to ask him, hey, Scott Lang, Ant-Man, has an idea about going back in time to using the quantum realm. And they go visit Iron Man, and Iron Man's like, dude, you see my little girl in my family?
He's like,
fuck
this
off.
is my second chance.
Yeah, he's like, fuck off. So then this is when you then get introduced to Professor Hulk. And Professor Hulk's character was way different than what they showed. In fact, this is the one time I'm going to be like, the concept art was
I
way
hated
better.
how he had facial hair.
I didn't hate that. I hated when the little girls come up and he's like, on 3 say green. And then he's like, and then that whole dialogue when everybody in the theaters is laughing and Scott Lang is like all like butthurt that they didn't recognize Ant-Man. I'm just like, dude, this is a 5-minute. How many of these 5-minute scenes are going to be in this movie?
Why couldn't they use that scene to explain how Thor or Hulk actually became, like, instead of being like, I spent like 18 months and I finally figured out, he's not his parasite, he's just as cool as me.
Doesn't that bug you that they for years this character plagued Bruce Banner? It was like it plagued him. Like the Hulk was like, he said, a parasite, and like all of a sudden they fixed it like that. They were like, I spent 18 months
like
focusing.
30 seconds of dialogue.
Yeah, and that was it. That was it. We didn't. Again, you know what would have been?
We didn't even get the scene where he does it.
So that's what I mean. I wish I would have did that.
So after that bullshit ass diner scene, when we're introduced to a potentially awesome character in the Marvel universe, Will disagrees. I love Professor Hulk, but they I
just thought that was weird.
Like you said in the parking lot, you nailed it. They translated that so strangely on the screen. But
it didn't seem the same character.
Then this is kind of when the movie like totally hits the point where it's like, okay, you just watched a whole bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, like 45 minutes to an hour at this point.
Now here's the Marvel movie, and the Marvel movie is they go and they try to figure out how to master this. Basically, what was it? Time traveling
Stark
GPS.
Time traveling GPS.
Yeah, and Stark
makes a little pretty much like
he called it a GPS, like a GPS. Yeah.
And you still do this.
And
then,
that Hank dude ended up inventing the cells so they could shrink.
The pin particles.
Yeah.
So
he's the original.
But they combined it, right? So another one was because they used the pin particles to jump back and forth.
Yeah.
So another one
and to
was
make himself smaller. And bigger.
Another thing to note that at that point when he accidentally discovers it, this is when you really see the Marvel movie the Avengers become the Avengers because like I think I started to be like, okay, now I'm watching it when they went when they went into the time travel experiment with just Professor Hulk and Ant-Man, when they kept coming back to baby and old man, and then he was like,
that kind of annoyed me.
I'm not saying the scene is good. I'm just saying that when that started, I was like, okay,
this
is going to be where the Avengers is, because Iron Man's going to come in, and then like right when he was like, here's your thing, I felt like all of that should have been like bonus footage. But for the record, I get why they put it in there, because of the hour of movie we just watched. There was nothingness. It was like we seen Thanos die, and you see Hawkeye's family disappear, and then it's like, you have to wait till fucking Ant-Man becomes a baby, old man, and then pees himself.
He pees himself.
And then after that, it just pretty much keeps on going with the time travel and going back and forth, trying to figure out how they could pretty much successfully go back in time, grab the stones, and go back and forward in time. And they all end up finding a plan where there was 3 stones in New York at one point, and then find the 2 other stones, and that's when they ended up splitting into teams.
Yeah, they did like 2 teams of 3, right?
Yeah,
or something like that, or 3 teams of 3.
It was something like that.
Yeah. Or 3 teams of 2.
3 teams of 3, I think.
Yeah, and they you're right. They split up, and each one of them using a gate that Professor Hulk, Tony Stark, and Ant-Man designed, which is funny because that's something that you were saying that you're not fond of the Paul Rudd's Ant-Man. I like the character development there because since Ant-Man the movie, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp, and now this movie,
it's a lot of forced comedy. That's why I don't like it.
And Captain America: Civil War.
Like
I like the fact that you get to see Scott Lang slowly realize how smart just gaining this technology has made him, because he's like, I think we can go back in time.
I was just a regular ass dude before this.
I was robbing places and had
he was good at it though.
Good enough to get caught, and so he. That was a good turn point. Yeah. That was when
he was influenced by the quantum realm, though. Yeah,
right?
He was in there because he was in there for
and his
5
mom
hours,
and you missed it. And Ant-Man and the Wasp, his mom, which
they
is
link. I saw that part. They link up, and he's
and I think she had some of his knowledge. Yeah, and he.
Yeah, that was such a weird scene.
Yeah, but
which one?
That's Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, okay. But so from there, what were we? They get the stones, and then they split up.
Yeah, they split up. Yeah.
What's his name? Iron Man, Ant-Man, and Stark. Yeah, Captain America go to New York.
And I'm glad to see them in teams. So everybody listening, you totally see, even though we said that Tony Stark blames Captain America and Captain America and Thor's everything. Dude, Tony Stark and Captain America's relationship, it drags a little bit in that movie, but it felt nice to see like this
the resolve.
From
Civil War kind of
to simplify. Yes.
So, what's her name? Scarlet Witch? Not Scarlet Witch. Black Widow. What's his Iron
Patriot?
Pretty much. Right?
War Machine.
I'm
kidding.
That was another thing I really didn't like about those.
Sorry, dude.
Nebula,
Raccoon, Nebula,
Thor,
and what was his name?
So Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Nebula, and War Machine go to the 2014 of Warmere to get the Power Stone.
Yeah.
And then and that's when Hawkeye and Black Widow split up to go get the Soul Stone.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and that's that. And here we are at this scene with those two where this is another
they fight
scene.
over who gets to die.
No, this is
weird.
I'm going to flash forward real quick just because I need to make a point. You know, in the first Avengers, the amazing monumental scene where it was one camera scene of all the fight, and then you see that towards the end of this movie too, right? One thing they brought back from the Avengers, the first one, that everybody loved was that fight between Black Widow and Hawkeye. And we keep fucking seeing them do it as if the movie makers are hinting at, we know you want to see these two fuck. And it's like...
But they're not allowed to because he's married.
He's married, and on
she's
top
in love
of it,
with Hulk.
She's in love with the Professor Green Hulk, and like...
Professor Big Dick.
Yeah, Professor Big Hulk, and that big dumb fuck. So, anyways...
So they ended up showing like this next hour just shows all of them doing their own thing.
Yeah, and don't forget, you see this fight between Black Widow and Hawkeye for this Soul Stone, where literally the goal is to sacrifice themselves, and they keep saving themselves. They keep saving the other.
It kind of doesn't make sense for me for Black Widow to kind of sacrifice herself because she really didn't have to, and it'll make more sense for Hawkeye too because I guess he would have.
She doesn't have a family though. He does.
If they
win,
it made more sense for Black Widow to do it, but like it didn't make sense to me why they were just
fighting over it.
Why they focus so much on it. But then let's point out that on the Hulk side, at that same time, he goes and sees the
ancient one, and that one was pretty weird.
Yeah, that was.
It was kind of cool how they did a reference.
She put him back into the
knocked him into
the realm.
Yeah,
and they have a little tussle, and they end up arguing, and she shows him the timeline, and if she takes the stones, it'll split and everything.
Yeah,
but then he ends up saying he'll go right back and put those
exactly
stones.
when they took it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like never happened.
I've never even remembered that. You're right.
Remember she has the magic line?
You're right. And he goes, but in the end, if we fix it and we put everything back, all the ripples will go. And she's like, shoots him down and goes, that's not how this works. I can't sacrifice this reality. And he goes, so you're telling me Doctor Strange gave Thanos that stone for no reason?
And she's like, wait, what?
And she's like, wait, he gave it to him willingly? And that was the moment when she realized he was
we're supposed to do this.
Yeah, he's like, he's seen this. Like, So keep in mind that scene in Infinity Wars when he goes and he's tweaking out and he checks out all the possibilities of the future. Understand the gravity of what he just did and how powerful that makes Doctor Strange. Because even the Ancient One couldn't fathom what he had seen.
Although she did know that. She did know a lot about the timeline.
But yeah, she knew
where he was before
into the
ever...
future. She knew that Doctor Strange was going to be the one to replace her, is what it seemed like.
Well, she knew everything about him before he even became...
Doctor...
Before he got in the car crash.
Because she knew that he was going to replace her.
Why wouldn't
she can always look into the future.
Yeah, and she was using dark magic in Doctor Strange to stay alive all those years. So she was
drawing from the dark dimension.
So just to recap real quick, Black Widow and Hawkeye fight each other to pretty much whoever sacrificed himself. Yeah,
kind of wall jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, it's like a whole 15-minute scene. Black Widow ends up doing it to sacrifice herself. He gets the Soul Stone, and then Hulk talking to the Ancient One gets the.
I like that scene.
She did him that scene up though.
I was so glad to see the Ancient One. So
yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. The scene though at the very end where Hawkeye and Scarlet Widow or Scarlet Witch is Black Widow. She's like, "Let me go." She kind of hammed that up a little bit. I kind of felt like she overacted it a little bit.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was about to ask. I was like, wait, did they?
She had this weird face on her.
And from going back to earlier, what you did call it, Will.
Yeah, it's like she's gonna kill herself. I know she is.
Oh yeah,
I knew it immediately because she had no family. She had no reason to really live, and she was like, "I want my family back," which was the Avengers.
She's basically. Like, "I already made $500 million off this."
Yes, so. I'm out. My kid is good in real life.
Right? Also, I did say before we started watching it, I was like, I hope she dies because I'm kind of sick of characters without powers.
And so, Stark, Ant-Man, and Captain America end up getting They get the scepter. Captain America fights himself, which is hilarious.
Okay, hold on. And just note that the Tesseract, the stone, what's the Tesseract? The stone?
Space Stone.
Yeah,
are we sure on that one?
Stone. It's like because the
the
scepter was a spine stone.
Tesseract's fake, right?
It's just the cube. It's just the computer that has the stone inside of it. It's like a
barrier, like a protector thing, like a.
Ultron's back.
We'll get back to that. So let me just.
Ultron's in that.
We're at the very end. Let's just finish it off. So. They get the scepter.
Oh,
they
that's
Ant-Man back. And what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, keep in mind that at this point of the movie, when they jump back in time to grab all the stones, very quietly or supposedly supposed to be quietly, Tony Stark makes a big deal about everybody not fucking up. Especially Captain America.
No mistakes.
And he fucks up because in the most ridiculous
the Hulk just busts through the door.
You get to see something from the first Avengers that you never seen when when Hulk had to take the stairs and he fucks up the fucking thing and he fucks up Tony Stark getting the Tesseract.
They ended up getting the Mind Stone and everything.
I think Loki's alive again too, because he disappears and you don't see him again.
Well, they put the stones back where they're supposed to, or at least.
No, but remember he picks up the thing and disappears.
No, hold on.
But he still died.
Yeah, I think remember they said that that time always corrects itself in some way. They were like in some way, shape, or form it evens out.
Well, so pretty much they get the stones. They give the scepter to Ant-Man. What's his name? Tony and Captain America go back to the 70s.
Even further in the past.
Yeah, to the 70s.
And at this point, you're seeing a bunch of Easter eggs from old movies.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in time traveling scenes.
They end up...
kind of explaining how it all went down.
Yeah, they end up getting the scepter... Or they get the Tesseract from the base, and then they get...
the pin particle.
Yeah, more pin particles so they can go back
because that's where Hank Pym was working.
Yeah. And then they come back... Get the gauntlet. They
shoot the cannons at him, don't they?
We left that part out with Nebula
shooting herself.
Well,
no, because Nebula and War Machine get the Power Stone.
Yeah, that's right. Nebula and War Machine go, and they are successful in interfering and running interference on Star-Lord. Stealing in the Guardians of the Galaxy, the first movie, when he steals the Infinity Stone, like our first real hands-on experience with those. So Star-Lord, one scene we had, lightweight skipped, and not really, because again, when they jump back in time, they are throwing a whole bunch of
old movies
at you, and then putting their characters in those footage. Yeah. So when with War Machine and Nebula, they go back and they go to steal one of the stones, and they are successful in running interference on Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And they steal it, but right when they go back to sync and jump back in time to go meet up with the rest of the crew,
Nebula is to not turn off her Bluetooth.
Yeah, I know. Her Wi-Fi was open. She didn't have a password.
You should make that a meme or a joke. Fucking. If only she turned off her Bluetooth.
Only, yeah, goddamn it, always running interference.
Yeah, that was weird.
So she gets
so
at the same time that she is back in that time point, and they're stealing the stone from 2014.
Yeah.
Nebula, that 2014 Nebula, Gamora
Swaps.
and Thanos are all looking for the stones at the same time, and the two Nebulas, their computers literally, like Ben said, their Bluetooths accidentally cross streams.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
from there,
she sees her memories.
And basically Thanos finds out everything, and then they manage to get Thanos. Thanos manages to get Nebula to swap out
future with
the future and past. So past Nebula goes into the future,
hacks it so they could bring Thanos
into
the future,
our present time where everybody's been erased. So after you see Thanos dead, at the very end, you get to see 2014 Thanos come into 2019. No, Prime Thanos.
Before we put the glove on.
Yeah, and this is what leads up to them have just finished. They just finished building the new Infinity Gauntlet using Stark tech, and they put it into into the Infinity Glove and the Infinity Gauntlet, and Hulk puts it on. The Stark one is the Infinity Armor. The Infinity Armor.
Which we didn't get to see.
Mm-mm.
Oh, that would have been sick. Maybe in the future.
The suit that he's using is Extremis, though. He just took Extremis tech and made it his own.
So from this point on, they
do the snap. This is when you see the Hulk, Professor Hulk snap that Ben left off at. And you see that Professor Hulk snap, and he's successful. He brings everybody back, but you see nobody. But Scott and Hawkeye are like, dude, I think it worked.
Hawkeye gets a call from his mom and
his wife.
Or his
wife.
Mom.
Hope it's not his mom.
Scott and what's his name? Scott Lang's looking outside of the birds because there's no all life, pretty much 50% of life.
Yeah, and he's like, there's random birds.
A lot of the birds
that's
are gone. Yeah.
Oh, good call. I was wondering what he was looking at. How observant of you. I didn't even think of that.
Thanos hella came. That's when Nebula was hacking it. Thanos came, started bombing the place.
Yeah, he blows up the Avengers facility beyond,
all
all his power. He blows up with missiles upon missiles, unloads payloads.
Don't forget, fingers were snapped to reverse it. Huge battle between Iron Man, Thor, Fat Thor,
Captain America,
and Captain America.
Against
Thor brought back Mjolnir or whatever.
Mjolnir.
Yeah, he basically Captain America is able to wield Thor's original hammer. Because
he's worthy.
Because to do a little flashback reference here, when Thor goes back and to get the ether, he fucks up and sees his mom like an asshole. So
yeah, he's fighting.
Fat Thor fucks up.
Yeah,
the melted sack of ice cream.
as
the raccoon called him, Rocket Raccoon called him.
And so pretty much to end it off, there was a huge battle. Captain Marvel shows up. Doctor Strange lets everybody from the MCU come up, and they all start battling out Thanos.
To make this not sound as epic as it is, you're seeing a lot of the main, the characters that are relevant in today's pop culture be the forerunners of this battle. So I'll give a good one right now. You have a women's group. You have in the other side, you have runoff characters that are kind of whimsical and not very popular, like the horse. An example, the Pegasus. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't remember its name. It has a name, but
it does.
It just ridiculous characters. It's not that what they're trying to do or battle happens, and it's in the same style as the first Avengers movie where the camera angle is through New York. And everybody's fucking shit up, and you see Spider-Man. And
so everybody's there. Everybody came back.
And they fight for that gauntlet.
And everybody's
they're playing keep away.
Everybody kind of got their own little moment with Thanos and everything.
They did. They laid some hands on that big fuck.
So pretty much Thanos gets the gauntlet and
puts it on.
Yeah, he puts it on, and before he snaps it, he Captain Marvel tries to stop him. She takes it from him. Before she takes it from him, slaps her with the fucking
He
power.
pulls the stone out, right? And then just...
Yeah. Punches her with it. And after that, he pretty much... Tony Stark looks at Strange, and Strange gives him a hint. And Tony Stark finds out what to do, goes up, attacks Thanos, and uses his technology to take the stones from
the nanotech. Yeah, he takes the nanotech from one glove to another. Glove, yeah, and he puts it on himself.
He's like, I am... And he pauses for a second. He's like, I am Iron Man, just like the last thing he ever said in the...
I won't lie, that was super epic. For the record of anybody who knows anything about the cartoons or the comics, like,
that's a big moment in the first Iron Man, too.
Dude, yeah, but, like, the gravity of that one was, like
full circle.
Yeah, there was a giant war going on. It started and ended
with it.
Yeah, and that giant fucking war that was going on, like you said, it started with him being Iron Man, and it ended with him being like, I'm Iron Man, and it just ended it all. Yeah. Like, that was, like, to be real, you remember how everybody was... They had a theory that Infinity War would end with the snap before it came out. It would have been sick if it ended with that snap. If Iron Man was like, I am Iron Man, and it ended, and then the post-credit scenes were extended a little bit, you know? That might have made up because then, after the snap, you see Tony Stark die.
Yeah, he's pretty much fades away. He got a funeral. They ended up showing
pretty much all the Avengers, like, everyone who ever interacted with him.
There's like a mysterious kid that Josh was saying that was the kid from the third Iron Man, which was crazy.
Yeah, that's right. And Will was like, he ended up being, we were thinking he's the kid from the third Iron Man.
And he, so they ended up using Cap to go back in time to replace all the stones so the timeline would stay straight. And from there,
he stays.
Yeah, that was the crazy part. And after he stayed, he gave, what's his name?
You don't even know his name. See, that's why I was like,
Falcon.
Why did they give Falcon it?
I want to call him Black Falcon.
Of course you do.
No, I mean that's like
Panther.
That's like a
very racial thing to say.
Well, that's like a DC character. I'm pretty sure it's a Black.
Yeah, go ahead, save yourself then.
Whatever.
You're thinking it's Blue Falcon.
Right. Black Falcon.
And it pretty much ends it with there, and yeah, dude.
Why did they?
Okay, we'll let it out. We'll let it out. Let it all.
No, wait. Let's. As far as that review goes, let's because that is basically the end of the movie. No, we didn't see a post-credit scene. That does not mean there is not one that will be released later or on the DVD.
You gotta also remember
Blu-ray.
Oh, they're talking about
yeah.
Better not.
So, but for but as far as that movie goes, I liked it, but I totally agree with my counterparts when I say there was 30 minutes to an hour and 20 minutes worth of footage that could have easily been cut out.
The beginning part was really...
It was the opposite of Suicide Squad. Too much shit that did not need to be there. And instead of... It was just weird.
Like, I really didn't like the 5-year jump. I felt like it was unnecessary. I don't know why it had to be 5 years, like, specifically. Are they technically... So what, the movie... happened in 2018,
and Thor was still fucking.
It's supposed to be 2024.
Yeah.
So the movie's taking place in 2024, 5 years from now.
So after Thor beheaded him, he just was like, "That's it.
Yeah.
Getting fucked up for the rest of eternity." Like,
you know what's funny?
Not a
When he's like, "Oh, we're here to talk about Thanos," I thought he would be like, "Thanos!" I was gonna go hella crazy.
Electrocute everything.
Yeah. That's gonna be like have some post some Tony.
I did like the scene where he pulls the hammer to himself. He's like, "I'm still worthy."
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Even though we already figured out that the hammer didn't even matter.
No,
which was weird.
And he stole it from that timeline completely.
You know, I know. Well, I guess from their point of view, right when they leave. No, because
he brings it back right.
Yeah,
and
so it's like if they never came.
Yeah, that's why time travel bullshit, dude.
That time travel, they try to make it so the time travel that they're gonna do made sense. Like everything you know about time travel is thrown out the window.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing.
Ours is the only one that works, even though theirs did not work either. Yeah. There were some scenes that didn't make sense.
What did you think of it?
I liked it. I really liked it. I'm glad I went to watch it, but it definitely could have been at least like maybe 2.5 hour, 2 hour 45 minutes. Yeah. If they would have kept it at this length, they really should have
had more action,
more detail into what.
There was so much talking.
Not even like.
It was a lot of talking.
What'd you think of it overall? What'd you think overall?
Think of the ladder?
Yeah.
I thought it was. I thought it was worse than last one, but I think that's because it was really hard to end it. They didn't. It was.
Oh. Yeah,
I don't think it was easy for them to end it because no ending would have worked. Really, somebody would have been pissed either way.
What about when Nebula got fucking shot?
She shot herself. That was so weird.
Her past self and never didn't even get fucking killed or anything happened to her. She didn't get a chest in her or a hole in her chest or anything.
I don't know. Also, Gamora was alive at the end, right? But then they kind of made it seem like she's not going to be back in the Guardians.
It's her past self.
But still, like, that was still weird. Why would they even bring her back if they're not going to even have her be back in the Guardians? The Guardians 3, she's not going to be in it.
You think? I think they did that so they could continue that chasing relationship between them. So he could.
Oh, they reset it.
So he could.
So they could reset it.
They're not just in love. Already.
Back to the whole a guy and girl that can never be together.
Exactly.
Because then the show will end.
Yeah. So they're kind of gonna reset it. That's what I felt like. That's what it seemed like. They're gonna because when she kicked him twice, she's like, "Don't touch me." I fucking kneed him twice in the stomach or whatever, in the nuts. He's like, "You missed it, but the second time you hit both of them."
And it seemed like Nebula replaced her.
No.
She did. She was with the Guardians at the end. Nebula was.
Well, maybe
she was standing in the background. Maybe she's the new Guardian. They replaced Gamora because she's not.
She's dead.
Well, she's alive now, right? Yeah, she's alive now.
Did they keep her in the future?
Well, they couldn't send her back. How'd they send her back?
That's true. So yeah, I guess
they only have so much. Oh, actually, Hank Pym's alive again, so he could make more of the Pym particle. I guess he's the only one.
That's how we went back to. They took back the stones. Because he
was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's alive at the end. Yeah, it was a little weird. I think I liked the action. I really felt like there wasn't enough. I really feel like we got like 2 hours of talking and an hour of action. Which is not a good ratio for a superhero movie. And that's a bad ratio.
Because you got excited when you saw Captain Marvel fucking come in to hit Thanos. You're like, oh shit, Thanos is about to fucking whack this bitch with this gauntlet. But then all of a sudden, everybody comes in and they start grabbing it.
I thought the scene where she breaks the ship was really cool.
At the end?
Yeah, where she goes through the ship and destroys it.
Mm.
Okay, but then right after that, she flies like straight at Thanos and like he's like fighting with her on par with no glove.
Yeah.
What? She's supposed to be way stronger than that.
Yeah, she
should have just been like, and just destroyed him right then and there.
You know, another thing I didn't like.
Why was Scarlet Witch so strong?
Dude, she had so much rage.
She destroyed
his armor.
A gauntlet.
Everything. She does have the power of a stone, though. To be fair.
Yeah, she destroyed a stone.
No, but she has the power of a stone. Her power is from it, right?
Yeah.
She's kind of like Vision, basically. Except she doesn't need a stone.
That's somebody else thought that was going to come back. That would have been sick if they came back. But like as like a lifeless
a new robot?
Like an AI, yeah.
Who?
Vision. Oh, yeah.
Well, in the cartoons he does, right? In the comic books he does. It's just not the same. He's like Red Tornado instead. Or somebody.
That was weird how they had, like, you're right.
Oh, that's DC, yeah, you're right.
It's weird how they made, what's his name? That's weird how they made Thor like a silly character. Like he was always like that.
That's what I'm saying, dude. They're trying to replace all the strong male leads with female leads.
I mean, yeah. I think they've been trying to do that. They've been trying to make a female Avengers.
I think this is when Marvel is gonna...
So it's gonna be like Ghostbusters?
No, I think this is when Marvel is gonna bring in the new X-Men.
Call it Marvettes.
Which might as well after the girl power scene.
Honestly, at least it wasn't a whole movie of that. I expected way more. They actually held back a little bit, in my opinion.
I'm kind of happy Captain Marvel
wasn't in the whole movie. But yeah, it was weird. We didn't see much of Spider-Man.
Can we just address the elephant in the room and just talk about that girl power scene?
Yeah,
I think it was that bad.
I want to point out.
I expected so much more, man.
Wait.
The whole movie was not.
No. It's not that it was that bad. It's just it was such an obvious moment.
So
it was forced because when I think of the girls in Marvel, I'm not like,
I
don't like any of those characters. I'm always like, some of the girl characters are the best characters. I like Black Widow. Like, I just didn't want to see her movie. I just didn't want to see the movie.
I thought it was so cool when they showed Pepper Potts in the iron suit, but I was just like, wait, that's why they had her in the iron suit, for the girl power scene.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
No, it's not wrong. It's just forced. The way they did it was like,
it's like,
you know how I would have.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me 3.
Bitch,
me
you're
4.
my sister. Like, this is my sister. No, dude, I don't like it. Like, I didn't like it. What I would have liked, I liked the characters, and granted, I wasn't super happy to see Pepper again in a suit of armor, but for the record,
she's his assistant.
She's
not a fucking. She doesn't know how to use the Iron Man
I wish they
suit.
would have done what they did with Captain Marvel.
Also, Iron Man made a really good joke. Mom never wears anything I buy her. Kind of hinting that she never wore the suit. Because she literally has the mask that she wears at the end. I don't know if you noticed that, guys.
If he could make a kill all mode for Spider-Man, he could make a kill all mode for...
It's got like an AI built into it. It does.
Yeah. But hey, hold on. She obviously knew how to use it because she understood how to use Friday, how to talk to Friday. Yeah. Let's be real. Like, a computer talking to you like that's that smart.
Well,
none of us in the room that didn't know it was that smart would talk to it the way she was like Friday.
What are his vitals?
Yeah, and like knew to know it when she like just hinted.
That scene was bad too. I didn't like that scene.
I didn't like how well Pepper Potts handled it.
I don't know, it wasn't a bad movie.
I don't think any of us said it was bad. We just said we like it or didn't like it. Yeah. If we're talking if the movie's good, the movie was. As far as being a fanboy goes, I'm a fanboy. I'm gonna say I like it.
Just answer me this: when you think back for the first hour of the movie,
is there any memorable scenes?
Yeah.
What
happened?
It's just dialogue.
Like, really, what?
It was an hour of talking.
Okay,
Ben.
I'll be honest. There was one scene that it was 3 seconds, and I was so excited for a moment where I was like this, to the point where I was like, "Fuck this kid next to me, shoveling popcorn in his face. This movie's about to get good." And then it happened, and I was like, I literally looked over at Will, and that was the first time I think I was like, "What the fuck?" And Will was like Will literally threw his hands up and looked at me.
I did that so many times during the movie, dude.
No, but that was
looking at me like, you son of a
dude. No, I was like, "What's wrong? Tell me. I want to know."
No, dude. At the end, I noticed Will was getting like that because me and him would go back and forth. But in the beginning, like me and him both were just kind of like, because I looked over and at one point, me and Will both were like this, and I was like.
Like, am I copying him or is he copying me?
Are we just really trying to figure out is this
what
about to get really good? Is this about to get really good or holy shit did they drop?
Did you listen to me?
Did Marvel really drop the ball or did they improve? Right? Or I mean did they just create a random thing? But that scene when Professor Hulk is first showing for 5 seconds maybe
you had hope.
I had hope for.
Just
I
like
hope.
Ronan. Don't give me hope.
He takes off his glasses or whatever, and Ben pointed out he didn't like the facial hair. I did. That's personal.
It's Mark Ruffalo. He's got to have a beard, bro.
Yeah, I seen it, and I seen his face, and it was going down, and I was like, you know what my thought was?
What I have to say is how come he didn't.
Well, I was gonna say, I think, oh my god, he's about to be in a lab, and we're about to see the super legit Professor Hulk
he didn't even wear a lab coat the whole time.
And in a lab coat, and then it zooms out and he's in a diner.
At least once.
Yeah.
Eating a big ass pie or something.
No, dude, he's eating hella food. Eggs, fucking pancakes, burritos,
or pancakes wrapped in sausages.
I
saw.
Yeah, little pigs.
I remember because I was like, "What is he eating? Is that burrito?" But I thought it was
that was a burrito
sausages
too,
in there. But you said pancakes. I was like, "That makes sense." Pancakes wrapped.
They're in like a breakfast place.
What was he fat?
Because his metabolism's higher now. Because he's mastered both sides, so that means he has to maintain the eating.
Beer either.
No, and fucking Thor.
He's not drinking space beer.
I didn't like the direction they took with Thor.
Were there any other scenes like that came up for you guys
in the first half?
No. In the first half. In the first half, the first hour, like a 5 second, 10-second scene, whatever, where for a split second you thought, holy shit, this is about to get really fucking good.
Hey, one thing. Do you guys remember in the previews how it showed Black Widow shooting the fucking...
Yeah.
Did they ever show that?
Maybe, and maybe I just missed it.
Wait,
Or
shooting
can't
what?
recall.
Remember, it shows her with like her short hair. I think, I don't know. So
Maybe it was a
one of those cut things.
like
so,
a
Like, is
or,
there-
or it might have
like
just
a
been
filler.
an old scene from an old movie.
No, it
No,
could have
'cause
been
it
a
was
cut.
in
It
the
could have
trailer?
just been a
Yeah, it
cut.
was in the trailer.
Yeah, it could have just been a cut, or we didn't catch it.
So, like going
It
back to
happens all
Josh's
the time.
question, there's nothing in the first half I could really remember. Like maybe the only thing I could really know is when it started to pick up is when Scott Lang got it,
Came back.
and that's when I was like,
Yeah.
that's when I was like really like interested
Yeah.
because
So,
everything else was.
I agree. Other than the professional.
We saw Captain
comment.
America
What
doing
about
the
you?
PTSD thing. That was okay.
I guess Captain Marvel.
That kind of reminded me of Punisher a little bit, though.
What, Captain?
Captain America doing like the PTSD like.
Oh,
counseling?
that's right. But that was the 5 year later mark.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah,
you're
I guess
right.
so. It's not the first half.
No, it is.
That was, like,
the
yeah,
first.
it was early
the
on,
first
right?
half, like
That was the
15
first half.
minutes.
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
first half. Yeah.
Alright, I thought it was.
That
That scene was weird, but
the
it
first
wasn't that
quarter.
bad. It made sense.
Yeah, they were just. I see what they were trying to do.
A little
They're trying
generic, though.
Use that time to set the atmosphere and see
for
like,
how bad
Set
it
up
really
how
was
he's
for
not letting go.
everybody.
It was just.
Yeah.
It went from like super serious, from like you guys were saying, like Captain America being like that, and then Black Widow being like, "Where are the stones? I want the stones." Being like the leader and being really assertive, the leader of Avengers.
Also breaking down. She was
But
like
then
constantly
it
breaking
went
down.
from that.
So-
It went from that to that, and then it just went to fucking, "Hey, I'm Hulk. What's up, guys?" And I feel like that really
Yeah.
derailed the tension.
Dude,
you know what I
he-
mean?
yeah.
Her whole scene, that scene was weird.
Every character was
Hers.
so in their
First,
own
in the
world
beginning, It was
too.
weird.
When she was eating the peanut butter and
She
jelly
like put
thing.
her feet up and was hella like having
that
a good
was
time, and then
weird.
she just started crying. It was she was like
She was
PTSD'd or something.
like-
Although she's
Yeah, I didn't like that when she had
does
her
have
foot
a
up
lot
on
of
it. My bad. Josh was like, "Holy
It was just a little.
motherfucker."
It was a little awkward for me
Well, it's
for
just
her
gonna
to.
shake it.
That posture, even though she's like breaking down, was a little awkward. I feel like, and then like she takes a bite out of the sandwich, and then she's like, "I don't want
I
this
think
anymore."
she's just trying to stay in character because like Black Widow, trying to be Black Widow.
Yeah, darker.
Because if you always see Black Widow, she's always like,
Yeah.
whatever, like
I also
this is, like,
good
never-
call.
also
Yeah, but then she
nonchalant.
also just goes
Good-
straight to crying.
Good call, because did you
So
she's
notice
fucking.
how dark
she's
her?
hurt.
Did you notice how dark her room was?
She remembers that what's his name's family's dead
Well, not only
Her
that,
office.
she
or gone for now.
it's been 5 years and they haven't.
I just thought it was odd.
Because
Her
they
emotions change very quickly.
well, it's because I think at that point she's realizing there's no hope left, and Thanos
Yeah.
was right. He used the stones to destroy the stones.
Dude,
Yeah.
and keep in mind, as soon as she heard
Why can't we
Ant-Man's
see that?
idea about
Yeah, there was a lot of things they talk about we don't get to see. That's really like, did you guys just try to save money?
well,
Probably.
I think that it's not that. I don't think any
They
money
tried to
has
fit
not,
too much.
No, yes, that and the
So
fact
many
that
heroes.
the story was. What do you want? Like, what could we have? What more could they have done at that point? Them, I mean, not us.
You know what's
them.
funny is,
like they
you're talking about
killed.
Easter
They
eggs
killed it
earlier.
for years. You know.
Yeah.
You're talking about Easter eggs earlier, and then at the very end, showed Wong or whatever, or somebody said, "Is that all?" And he was like, "What? You wanted more?" And it's
Yeah.
like, we gave you all we can, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all you get.
It's like 6 years of their life.
No, it was like 10, dude.
No, 10?
It's like 12, dude.
No, just to make that one movie.
The first Iron Man came like 2000.
No, just to make that
Eight.
one movie, it was
Oh,
like
yeah.
6 years, right?
2008
4
Iron Man.
years.
Maybe for both of them. I don't know if it's the whole thing.
I don't know.
No, they filmed them back to back.
Yeah, I know.
As soon as they finished the first one, they started,
Yeah, they started the next
So
one, just like
the
Deadpool.
last one finished
So by the time
last year or no,
it
6
was,
months ago.
it was May last year.
Yeah, they finished
So it
like
was pretty much a year ago.
but then they started reshoots, and principal photography was later.
And then editing.
earlier, I think.
Editing takes
Who
forever.
knows how much other stuff they did?
No, so what was the like a year ago is when they finished, right?
Was there ever...
when Infinity War was in
Infinity.
theaters? So by
Oh,
the time
okay,
it was in
okay.
theaters, it was probably
Oh, dude, then yeah. By the time it was in theaters, they already were midway through shooting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at the very
okay,
least.
okay. I was misunderstanding the question.
Was there ever points where you were like, is this animated? Like their suits. Was there any points where you're watching the movie and you're like, it looks
they
like
put-
his feet are animated?
Oh, dude, as soon as they put
probably.
A lot of the boots almost look animated when like
Oh,
you do
that's
close-ups.
so weird you say
I
that.
noticed it.
I
And then I
noticed
just remembered I
at
noticed
the
it
end
in
of the movie when I was looking at their feet, and I was like,
Because it does a close-up on it, and I'm like, is that animated?
I kept looking
It's
up at
weird.
the. I kept like kind of looking back and being like, does somebody have a phone on or something? Because it looks like shaky. Like the graphics look shaky.
You know,
They probably blurred it.
You know,
I don't understand.
You might be right. Will might be right. They might have like green screen suits on.
You would think they would have learned from that.
Because they could probably make.
They definitely do.
They could probably make it look so much more.
Captain Marvel obviously
more
definitely
4K
had some.
than you can. Like if you wear like nice clothes and you're just like a suit or special effects, it's gonna look
dull.
But if you have a green suit on,
they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, they definitely, because like the Hulk, like sometimes with that character, they would just have a head on a stick that the character would run around with and shit. Like, do you ever see that stuff?
Same with Thanos. Like
Thanos did that. Yeah, Josh Brolin.
If you ever seen
How do they make him so tall? Isn't he hella short?
They just use
dude, CGI, dude.
It's like what you said. They have like something wrapped around his.
Oh, that's right. Like they have a body, this thing wrapped around him with the stripping so that when they do the graphic design on him, they add it. Yeah, they have this.
I was like, man, they must have like a lot of work just doing this character.
All the little things on his face, so they can get all the expressions.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for like his
He wears a mask.
Capture.
So what about after when they started traveling back in time and stuff? What do you guys?
The worst scene. It was almost like a Scooby Doo scene. The moment you see Thor sneaking into Asgard, the very first scene where he's like, and it's just so awkward and weird, dude.
So right. They made
nailed that. I wish all you could see that.
They did, dude. They tried to kill Thor.
Ben, nope.
Yeah, it's right there. It's gonna be there.
Edit this into that
body.
So
he wants the thumbnail.
That shit was so good.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like I really think that. I noticed it with fucking Star-Lord, dude. They killed his character off, bro. They were like, we're gonna make him shitty so we don't have to do any more movies.
It went from Thor being able to take a fucking star to make to
being a complete pussy.
Oh, I wish you hadn't said that. You made me hate that scene. I love that scene when he takes the star up the butt, like.
Dude,
also, he does some crazier shit than that.
I hate that scene, but now that I've seen this movie, I love that scene.
That's weird. It makes me hate that scene.
I did like how he looked like Odin in certain parts.
Dude,
it was cool.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, Josh or Ben said it earlier.
Did you guys? I didn't hear you.
Odin.
Oh, dude,
when he had the hammer and the axe.
Fucking good call, dude. The whole time when he had gotten fat, I was like, okay, I hated it the whole time.
It was kind of weird how he braided his hair when he put his costume on. It auto braided his hair.
Was it braided or dreaded?
No, it had like a
braid
thing in the top though.
It was dreaded.
It was weird. It looked weird.
Like
it changed, that's for sure. Also, why the fuck was Captain Marvel's suit different in the projection? She was wearing like a silver and black suit. It looked so much tighter.
When?
Remember when they show like all the different Avengers?
She had her cut her hair, right?
Yeah, and they showed her.
That's right, because at that moment you were like, you said something.
I was like, she looks tight.
Yeah, you said
for the hair. I didn't mind
Captain Marvel a lesbian? Is that what they're implying?
No, because
her best friend.
I don't know.
The man was talking shit about her whole life.
Is it just me? She might be. But one thing is, I just want to point out, dude,
better not make
Spider-Man. She kind of threw the fuck me eyes at Peter Parker.
He's a 16-year-old boy.
Damn straight. She was wanting that skin.
She said, "What did she say? You got something for me?"
Yeah, she's like, "You got something for me." He was like,
"That was a cringy scene, though." I'm not gonna lie. I liked how Peter Parker looked scared.
For the record, I want to bring up what I brought up earlier.
Traumatized.
Wait, off of a joke, totally off of that joke, onto a more serious thing on the same subject. This is something I brought up earlier about Spider-Man to Will and to you. I have an issue that's a newly developed issue for me. When I watched Spider-Man, I love the actor. The actor's fucking dope.
He's bad at keeping his mouth shut, though.
Whatever, yeah. In real life, Tom Holland. But I like him as Peter Parker personally. But I've guilty like admittance. I think that I've liked all the Peter Parkers, all the actors, just because I'm such a Spider-Man fan. I like him so much. That superhero.
But who was the best?
I'm not gonna even answer it. So. My beef. This leads me back to this Spider-Man. You know when you're like, oh, you have something for me, and he's like, you said, oh, who's gonna stop her, kind of thing. I'll answer that. Spider-Man. If it wasn't that Spider-Man. If it was a 30-year-old Spider-Man, like even if we got the fat one from it
would just be Thor
Spider-Man the cartoon, yeah.
He gets kicked by the fucking
and then he gets hit by the train and shit. Like even if it was that one, he could beat Captain Marvel. Like in reality, like
Captain Marvel sense is OP, dude.
But it's not that. It's just that Spider-Man, in my mind, the version I like the most.
Captain Marvel can destroy a planet.
I have one thing.
Can't
I have
That's Spider-Man's a bitch.
I have a couple things I want to say.
I don't think Spider-Man can take.
Why the fuck did they really
can destroy a planet.
I don't know if we talked about this already, but why the fuck did they have Steve Rogers fight Steve Rogers?
Dude, you know what sucks? Here's another one.
Loki got away, dude.
No.
I agree 100%, right? Like with that scene.
Next movie, he's gonna be back.
I agree with that because that bugged me. Because you know what bugged me? Right before that, I had another 5-second scene where I was like, "This is about to get good." When fucking Steve Rogers, Captain America, leans in and he goes, "That won't be necessary." Hell.
That was an Easter egg. That was an Easter egg right there because there's there's a Marvel comic where it's Captain America is a Hydra.
See, that's dope.
Red Skull takes his body.
So right then,
Red Skull switches body with Captain America.
There's one where it's an alternate universe where there's a Avengers with.
I believe it. Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I don't remember. I don't believe it.
Also, that's in. Remember, he beats all those dudes' asses. He beats all those dudes' asses in that elevator
in Civil War,
and he's like,
dude,
"These guys."
That was
another,
dude. But one of my favorite.
Why did they do all that fucking?
They redid
it. That's pretty. That's
Thor started. No.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. The one's all burnt. Yeah, that's him.
Wait. The guy who had like
the mask, and he had the fucking cross.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the elevator,
shit.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That is him.
Yeah, it's him before he got all fucked up in Civil War.
Because this is in the past.
When he steals the nuclear thing or whatever in the beginning, but right before that scene when the two captains fight each other, that Hail Hydra moment, I was like, holy shit, dude! Because I recognized exactly what you guys were pointing out, except for the original comic one. But I felt like but I felt like I was like, this feels like a comic thing, but I know this is from Civil War. This is an ode to Civil War when he kicks
Civil War was
guys.
just based on two.
When he goes Hail Hydra and he goes to hit Captain America and Captain America whoops on them. One of my favorite scenes in all the Marvel movies, and you see that scene in reverse where Captain America. I believe this is why I believe it's from the comics. Says Hail Hydra to get out of that situation, and he gives him the fucking case with the Infinity Stone, and then the ball is dropped, and he walks out and he fights
himself.
Captain America himself, and he's like, "I got Loki."
I mean, if you get an ass kicked by yourself, you're gonna be like, "What's the only thing I'm gonna know?" Like,
I just thought it was weird. I didn't tie Loki.
There was one good scene. There was one funny scene.
He's definitely right. He's gonna be alive because fucking Thanos never killed him and got snapped away. So.
I'm just saying,
You're right,
he grabbed the cube and went to the portal.
You're right, 2014, Thanos never killed Loki.
That means...
You're fucking right.
Does that mean
the future?
Does that mean Asgard is back?
No.
No, that already happened.
There's some things in time that cannot be changed.
Okay.
So maybe Loki's still...
Actually, say, Josh, I was really curious.
I forget about the scene, the Captain America one. Oh, the other thing that I kind of thought was like, you know how you guys brought up there was hella too much of the humor scenes?
Yeah.
Like there really were. There was way too many
mostly just
scenes.
making fun of Thor.
A whole bunch of shit. There were a whole bunch of shit. But there was one that came up that I felt the same. I felt about that about almost the majority of the lines in the movie. I was like, dude, there are way too many little pokes at fun. Like how Will said, I kept throwing my hands up. You know, in my head, I was throwing my fucking my hands up almost at every other line because of those humor lines. But when the Captain America fights Captain America, there's a part where he says, I can do this all day. And he goes, hey,
I know.
And he goes, I know, get over it. And also another little thing about the lines that bugged me a lot, and this is funny coming from me. I'm going to say this and you guys are going to be like, wow, dude, the cussing was killing me.
There's none.
There was hella.
Was there?
Dude, they dropped shit bombs from when Stark figured out the time machine. He was like, oh shit, and his daughter was like, shit, and then the kid next to me was like, what's that mean? I was like,
I'm glad you brought that up. I hated that scene so bad.
Dude, there was more than one of those.
And then when I saw that scene, I was like,
why are they else?
What
was the scene where Captain America cussed?
I don't I don't remember.
Because I almost said, watch your language.
Yeah.
And like from Age of
Avengers.
Ultron. No, Age of Ultron. Remember? Because
I really wish they bring Ultron back. That'd be sick.
The cube's back.
I hope they don't.
He was in the cube.
I hope they only.
Remember? He's in the cube. When they analyze it, he infiltrates.
I hope that they not only bring him back, but I hope they bring back Ultra or what is it?
Ultron Sigma? No, I'm just kidding.
No, what's the one? The
Vision?
game. Remember the
Ultron?
Age of Ultron, the video game, the fighters game, Marvel vs. Capcom, and your Ultron.
Are you talking about the game?
Yeah.
He merges with a character that's not in the Marvel universe.
What character does he merge with?
Ultron Sigma.
Yeah.
That's not. Hold on.
He has a face in his chest.
There's one thing I also noticed when they did something weird where they had Thanos had the gauntlet on before he snapped it. Captain Marvel had like grabbed his hand.
And was like kind of bending it a little bit.
It kind of reminded me of what
Captain America did it.
But he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
women can do things men can't bend.
Yeah.
It's just, and it led up to the girl power scene. Or it was after, huh?
Especially if they're trans. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe that's what she is. She's not a girl or a guy. She's a captain. And that's why her hair is gender neutral.
Gender neutral. Her hair, not her, but her hair is.
Well, she's still got it.
Yeah, I know.
Dude, Ultimate Ultron.
Oh.
That's who I was thinking of. Yeah, I'm looking through him and
It's
I
like
was
when he
like,
fully upgrades himself or some shit.
yeah, because there's like different versions of him. There's a whole bunch of different versions of him.
I always get him confused with the guy that Superman fights. That has kryptonite in his chest.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's powered by kryptonite.
I don't remember.
So badass.
I don't remember what his name is, but he is basically Ultron.
Yeah.
Brainiac, pretty much.
No,
is
it's not
Brainiac.
Brainiac. Oh, yeah, Brainiac.
Kind of similar.
Yeah.
A virus that can like take people's lives and like control them, like technovirus.
So,
Whatever.
what did you guys think of the final fight scenes?
All the scenes with
Yeah.
Spider-Man were so lacking. Even the Ultra Kill mode, he was just like, "Oh, I can't do it."
Note for the thing, it's Metallo.
Metallo, there you go.
So I have I already brought
Starts
it
as a guy with a metal or kryptonite heart, but
yeah, I already have a beef about the Spider-Man because, like I said, I liked him, and then all of a sudden I rewatched a couple of things. I rewatched Homecoming, and then I started watching stuff on YouTube from Civil War.
I really liked him in Civil War.
I loved him.
Yeah,
but he was barely in it.
But I know it's not because I didn't. It's not because he was barely in it. It was because he
did well.
He just did well. Yeah, but like with these new ones,
So
I knew this was going to happen after Infinity Wars when he disappeared and he had those. We've seen the Scarlet suit or whatever it's called, the
Iron Spider.
The Iron Spider. Thank you.
Where he's got the
legs. Yeah.
Didn't like it when they first
knew
showed
it. I seen it when I seen it coming when. As soon as I see him, and I was like, I forgot he died in that fucking dumb suit. Because I've never
gets erased in it.
I've never liked it. I've seen it too much in cartoons and comics. But he comes back in it, and then he uses kill mode activator or whatever it is, and the legs are just poking.
Yeah,
like
it didn't even do anything really. It was like for 2 seconds, and then he gets overwhelmed.
No, yeah, he literally goes into a tuck and roll on the ground and goes into the fetal position.
Yeah.
Spider-Man goes into the fetal position. Like, to me, that's like seeing Batman go, please don't hit me, running away. Like, it doesn't...
Hope you're ready to see that.
Or Superman's, like, shooting up heroin with the kryptonite needle. Like, it's like... like, to me, it's just fucking blasphemy, dude. Like, to see... Like... So, you asked Spider-Man about Spider-Man, I think, right?
I was just asking, like, what do you think about
like, the end fight scenes?
Yeah, that was like Spider-Man
scenes. The end scenes when Spider-Man, dude, those are my least favorite. My least favorite.
He did more in the last movie. Where like at least webbed him up a bit.
Yeah.
And he helped hold his arm.
I hate to say it, but I almost would rather have seen more of the fucking Pegasus.
I think they were just trying to focus more on the original Avengers. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about one scene. Hold on. I don't mean to cut off the good question. Me and Will, at the same time once, threw our hands up and looked at each other and just kept watching. And was like, what the fuck did we just watch? I think at that moment, what were you calling it? When you were like, let's talk specific, walkout moments. Like that we
deal breakers.
Deal breakers, right? I think for a moment in
we
time,
both thought about it.
We thought about walking out when
Let's
they
go to the
first
arcades.
arrived.
The arcades
Yes,
tiny, though.
Like
dude.
two
When they
games.
first arrived
two games.
in 2012, or I think it was 2012, New York, when the first
14.
Avengers happened. Was it 14? I think you're
so.
right.
Is the earliest they go
I think
before
it's
they go.
12.
No, I thought it was 12 because
Might have
the
been.
Guardians, they went to the
14.
Oh, you're right. See, this is why I don't like time travel. It gets too confusing.
Anyways, I'll say it, and I know Will's gonna be like, yeah, dude, Ben, you're probably gonna be like, that scene when they first arrive in fucking New York. Let me put my beer down. And the Hulk comes by and stops the car,
Yeah.
and then
Gratuitous.
Professor Hulk goes,
Right.
he goes, and Captain America's like, and if you want, you can smash, and fucking. He goes, it's gratuitous, and he rips his shirt off. Professor Hulk rips his shirt off and proceeds to very poorly act out, acting like the Hulk.
He's
and
like,
smashing
bam!
cars. He's like, smash on a taxi and barely dents it, and then he like throws like a car door like a million miles, and he's like, roar.
That's
and
a
then
tire.
and he jumps on, it's a tire, and
Yeah.
he jumps on something and like,
It was just kind of crazy.
dude, the first Hulk that runs by.
That's when he throws the car on top of the guy.
Yeah, and like
smashes the shit out
and then he
of him.
stomps on him.
Yeah.
That scene, I kind of was like,
Too bad we don't have that Hulk anymore.
yeah, like we don't have that
The
anymore.
Beast.
I don't want to see any more scene. But that one scene when he did that fake smash scene, literally, me and Will were like, and looked at each other and looked back and went, and I know we were like, dude, do I walk out right now?
Is this gonna be?
Wait?
Is there another
What
one?
about-
I don't know if I can take it.
Yeah, dude. What do you think? What did you guys think of Black Panther in it?
I think they reused the footage from
He's so
Infinity
different
War.
now. Yeah,
It
it
felt
almost
like that.
looked like
It
it,
felt like
honestly.
It did, right?
What about you, Will?
I don't like his character.
What about you
His
got a
suit's
problem?
so
You got a
cheating.
problem with the powers.
He
When
doesn't
you were
have
like,
powers.
He did.
He had technology.
And then he had the fruit.
Well, that's
in
the whole
movie.
thing
It just
too.
didn't exist until that movie. Just saying.
So what? So
He was hella trained.
Yeah.
He was like Craven the
so
Hunter.
what do you think?
Wouldn't that
about,
be so much cooler?
dude? What? I bet we'll see him in a future one now.
Yeah,
Spider-Man?
his own-
That's a good call.
his own
Yeah.
fucking
Oh,
armor.
he is, dude. So isn't Sony gonna? Anyways, I
Because
think
he,
Sony's gonna do
Black
something.
Panther was basically just fucking Batman.
What'd
Let's
you
be
guys-
honest.
what do you
He was
think
just Batman.
What do you guys think of him being the first to come through and really like hold the presence strong? Like, cause he came through strong. Like, he didn't
Yeah.
come through fucking around. He came through with his two chiefs. Like,
Mhm.
dude, I'm about to fuck everybody up right now because of
Yeah.
what just happened. Because it seemed like, due to Peter Parker's
That's-
dialogue, that Doctor Strange knew this was gonna happen.
But it was like a blink
And
of an
he was-
eye for
and
them,
he-
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. It was a
Time
blink of
didn't-
an eye, and he goes, "Okay, it's been 5 years. Everybody, go through these portals.
Yeah.
We're about to get into a fucking massive battle." Is what basically just happened, and so one of the
Well, it
first
makes
ones
sense
we
too,
see
'cause
is
Doctor
Black
Strange
Panther.
could multiply himself, right, and go into different places.
Why the fuck did Doctor Strange get reduced
and
to holding
He can
water?
multiply himself, but he can't and go into multiple places, but without the time
Because
stone.
if the water
can't
came
loop
into
time.
it, would have
Flooded
flushed
them.
out most of their soldiers and would have fucked with the battlefield.
I know, but I mean that's all he did the whole movie.
I
Well,
didn't-
that's what I mean. Like that's all he can
Okay,
do.
so
Because who else is going to do that? All the students.
Scarlet Witch.
for the record, I think Will's
I
right.
don't think it was probably strong enough.
I think that Will's kind of right in a way that he
ripped
did.
Thanos' gauntlet off, bro. They couldn't even do that in Infinity War.
He did. I don't think he did enough.
I mean,
It's like a whole scene.
what I
about that.
hated
But
is
keep
this
in-
Thanos.
But keep in mind,
Was it
Doctor Strange also
Thanos-
predicted this would happen. That's a lot, too,
Like
by
this,
the way.
this Thanos for me, I felt was a shell of what Thanos was in Infinity War because he had no incentive. He did he knew they killed him, but he's like, oh, this is 9 years or whatever in the future for me. So
It was worth it. I
it was
won.
but the Thanos that was
But he
fighting
did change his mind, though. He said, "Now I'm not going to kill half. I'm killing all of you, everyone."
Yeah, but at the same
He
time,
changed his
that felt so empty to me. 'Cause I
Yeah.
was like, I would rather
They kind of changed his character so much.
You know,
I would rather the Thanos already beat him, and it was just like.
strong and he's been
Yeah,
experienced and he sees
knows
him.
what
He's
to
grown
do.
to like
He
and
did-
hate him.
The gauntlet was
I
broken,
agree.
though, kind of, right?
No, it was
Even
fucking
before he
like
just-
sewn into his
it was-
hand. It was like
it was smashed,
singed
remember?
into his hand.
It was
It was
smashed.
because
Yeah.
he did.
Crinkled.
However, he fucking
Snapped.
blew up the time stone or the stones with the.
Well, we don't
without-
see that.
without
No, he
using
evens
the
it out
gauntlet.
while snapping. He's like, I'm gonna eliminate half of life, and
Yeah, how
then
do
the
you
stones
just-
are gonna get destroyed while I do it.
Also, if
he kind of like
no, because he snapped and then he said he used the stone to destroy the
stones. Yeah. So he designed it when he took everything out. He designed everything to snap. Because no. Because remember, I don't think he did 2 snaps. I think when he did one, he meant for it to be a one-off thing. I'm going to destroy everything and everything. Because keep in mind, when Professor Hulk snapped, the stones were still okay. And then when Iron Man snapped, the stones were still okay. Yeah. And then they decided to put him back in time.
Well, the stones were never busted when he had the stones.
They had to go all...
just the glove got fucked up.
No, dude. When they killed Thanos in the beginning... He destroyed.
Well, that's
what I meant before.
They had to go all the way back in time to get him again.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
The stones that they had,
they weren't existing in their timeline.
In their timeline, the stones were all destroyed.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
He's talking about in Infinity War. Yeah. At the end, remember how the gauntlet's still on his hand and still has the stones?
Yes.
After he snapped it, but then
he's on the farm basically.
He didn't. Were the stones still?
Also, where the fuck was little girl Gamora? She wasn't in the movie at all.
She's in the Soul Stone. Or
little girl.
Remember, you see her with him at the end. She's sitting at the house with him. What happened, Daddy?
So wait.
Or whatever she says.
At the end of Infinity Wars, the gauntlet still has the stones.
At the end of Infinity War, yeah.
Does it?
This is why it's a retcon. Because guess what? We never see the moment where he destroys.
No, dude, trust me. I've seen the movie like 5 times.
The stones are still there.
The other day.
But the gauntlet's like smashed up, but the stones are still in it. Because how else would he get to the planet? He uses the space stone to travel all the way there, and then they retcon it and say 2 days later he destroys it all.
Well,
how?
It wasn't 2 days later. It was. They said he used it 2 days
to destroy.
Like he used it 2 days ago. And then whatever he did.
What? I thought they said 2 days after he destroyed everybody on Earth, there was another energy surge.
No, because that's how they found him. You remember?
Energy surge, yeah.
Yeah, but they found it on another planet.
Yeah.
But it wasn't It was like he did it 2 days ago, and he's like, "Oh, he must be there." And that's when Nebula was like, "Oh, that's the only place."
The garden.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
How do you destroy the stones without using a stone?
That's what I was thinking. Maybe that's what Josh was saying. Like, that how his arm was all singed up. Maybe he snapped it, and he's like, "When I'm snapping, I'm gonna destroy the stones." And
that's the only thing that had made sense.
Fucked up. He was like,
Can you do that?
I mean, the way they were snapping in this one, I guess that's the only thing I can think of. They snapped it like 3 times.
What stone are they using to snap people away?
All of them.
Oh, it's just the full power of the gauntlet lets you basically control everything.
Yeah, whatever you wish with a single snap. That's what Thanos was saying in the first one, Infinity.
So why didn't he just snap and be like, "All right, my gauntlet's good as new"? Couldn't?
Because he didn't.
Oh, he didn't want it to be
anybody else to use. He said, "Destiny has been fulfilled," or whatever.
Too much temptation. That's what he says.
Yeah.
Temptation.
There you go.
He's like, I had to destroy him. Too much temptation.
Maybe
because they were going to drive him crazy.
That would have been sick too. Maybe
he should have been the Mad Titan.
What if other people came and they were like, they knew that he had the fucking Power Stone or the stones, and he was like killing people with this, and he was like, okay, I gotta get rid of this because fucking people temptation.
Yeah. I just thought he was gonna go crazy with power like he should have. But you know the point where they introduced the 2 nebulas. That was there a moment where you guys were like, this is gonna be the moment where she kills Thanos?
No.
I told it because that's one of the stories. Is actually Thanos dies to Nebula. She wears the gauntlet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I totally thought that's what was gonna happen.
But if she ends up killing herself by accident or something,
she goes crazy, right? Because the power's too much.
She turns like
into Thanos, basically.
No, she like turns into like a dust, like skeleton. If I remember correctly.
She like burns herself out.
You okay over there, Josh? Trying to figure it out still?
Well, because I'm curious, because I just watched the movie. I literally just watched the movie 2 days ago. So I'm like, and when you're like, I watched it 5 times, I'm like, I don't remember at the end. I seen a picture of it, and everything is burnt, and the stones look kind of burnt.
They're
and
still
I'm like,
there, though.
They're still kind of there. So I'm like,
they're there. Like if you actually like watched it.
I know. I watched.
I know.
It.
I'm saying you watched
so
it. I'm just saying,
I'm
like,
just trying to figure out
like it's
that.
been confirmed and everything that the stones were fine and everything.
Yeah, dude, I don't know.
Well, they were definitely still able to be used
because if they were fine, what did he do? His hand was fucked. How did he destroy the stones?
That was from Rewinding Time.
Okay, so that's what I was saying.
How did he destroy the stones?
That's what I was just saying earlier.
That's
what I'm trying to find out.
The stones were still there because if they were destroyed, why would they just not be there at all?
Because he specifically told them
there was no stones on the gauntlet.
Yeah, and he specifically told
if they were
them
destroyed already, why would they even take them off?
Yeah.
So
why did they cut his arm off if he had no stones on?
Because remember, at the very beginning, they were talking about when they used a stone, when he snapped, there was a special
energy
wave,
and then that's how they found the other planet, right?
Yeah, and then because he did it again, and that's the only thing I can think of. Because that's what
stones out of existence,
and that's why his arm and his whole right side was all fucked up.
Totally fuck up the timeline.
Because he snapped his, and I think that's what he did. He snapped his fingers and he used the gauntlet until he's like, snap. I want because the way they made it seem is like, whatever you think, you snap. Like because Hulk snapped.
Trying to bring everybody back.
He's like, I want everybody, like, pretty much the way it seemed was like, what you think happens when you snap. So I want everybody to come back, snap. And that's what he did, right? Yeah. So that's the only thing I could think of is what Thanos did. The glove? Is I want to destroy the stones. And when he snapped, like you were saying, Josh, it was singed into him because he used it a second time. I think that second time he used it to destroy the stones.
See, that makes more sense. It does. It's funny because when I'm looking it up, like, I'm not getting an answer for it. Which I'm like, how didn't anybody answer this? Like in plain, like it's so confusing. You're right. I think you're right. I'm just like, I don't get why. Because when I watched it, like I said, it looked like the stones. I'm not saying were destroyed. I'm saying
the glove was definitely fucked.
The glove was fucked, and the stones looked like they were severely damaged.
Probably
like because at that end point,
the glove was definitely fucked. That's
now
for sure.
a better question. You know what could solve this? Here you go. This will answer it because this one question I won't even need to look it up because if you're like, oh yeah, he used this to do this. When he snapped everybody away, this will fucking fix this for me. Did he snap again to disappear to go to Titan?
He used
the power stone.
The space stone.
Wait. So he used one of. So there it is.
He just does
the stone was still okay. There it is. So the stones were still good enough that he could teleport back to Titan. Right. Yeah. There it is. That's what happened. Okay, so the stones are okay. That's all I was worried about. I wanted to know if at the end of Infinity Wars, if the stones were completely gone, or if in between Infinity Wars and
he destroyed them when we never
he decided to destroy
it. Because they say he uses it again in the movie in the very beginning, because that's when Captain
that's how they find him.
So what was his plan for not getting hurt again? Using the snap again to erase all, because the second Thanos was like, I'm going to destroy everything. So how was he avoid it almost killing him?
I think they kind of changed the rules because the stone got fucked up, but if I remember correctly, I don't think his arm was fucked up.
No, dude. Thanos?
Yeah.
In the first one?
Was fucked up.
Dude,
he was limping at the end.
In the beginning, he was limping up
that's after he destroys them.
Yeah, because when they show him in the second one,
second Thanos,
he's already. It's after he destroys them, so he's super fucked up.
That's when he uses it again.
That's why I thought it was so stupid they kill him so quickly. I was like, why did they just do? He's so weak.
They kill him pretty quickly each time.
This is why they should have made it.
No action.
Put more backstory into.
This is the one time that we would say that too, where we're like, okay, we're usually for the record, we're like, stop fucking putting back the origin.
No more origins.
This is the one time all of us are probably like, okay, a little backstory would have helped.
But you can't tell me you can't like this was because the last movie was all about Thanos and this movie is all about the original Avengers.
Yeah.
And what I also hated too at the very end.
That's a good observation.
Where he was walking around
about the originals.
Yeah, when he was walking around, he's like. And he just sat down and he just faded away. I did not like that, dude. I wish they would have kept him alive just to be like,
bitch.
Just to torture him. Like, put him in a jail cell and just be like, this is...
Yeah, like at that point...
Use him as an example.
Like at that point, it felt
and then
like...
bring him back later.
At that point, it felt like...
They were just wrapping it up.
Okay, so I just had read in that bullshit research that I was trying to find if the Infinity Stones were okay or not. Mm-hmm. You know? That one thing I popped up that I was like, oh, that's hella funny... is that they had reached a point during filming Kevin Feige or whatever his name is, or Feige.
Yeah.
He was like, what did he say? He goes, in 2013 he had brought up when they were trying to figure out an end to this or something like that, that they were like, at what point do we end it? Like, what point? And then years later they had another interview with the guys who made the Russo brothers or whatever. Mm-hmm. Didn't they make this movie?
Yeah.
The Russo brothers?
So,
yeah, they did.
So those two, they had an interview and they brought up something very similar, where they were like, we had a really hard time deciding what was enough and what wasn't. You know, and like when this, and what how to continue from the what I'm trying to say is they wanted to use the snap as a focal point.
Yeah.
They wanted to be like, okay, do we end the Infinity Wars on the snap, or is it midway through the movie and then you get a whole bunch of stuff, and then do you get Endgame, and is it from the snap on, or so I feel like we're right. I feel like they kind of freaked themselves out, all of them, the writers, the directors, Marvel, Disney, and they were like, what do we do? What do you do? And the simple answer really would have been like what we said. Why didn't you start it out with Ant-Man in the quantum realm, and then Ronan killing the fucking cartel? And then you could have jumped right into those weird fucking jokey scenes of them at the diner, because for some reason it seemed like they really liked him. And then all of a sudden the movie might have worked with those dumb fucking scenes. You know, like I
didn't notice it, but Will's right. I think they really kind of fucked up Thor's character.
I'm so glad you guys said that. I was so mad when Thor came on the screen.
They did give him a good end, though. It was a decent ending.
He got a good ending, but that beginning scene, because now we're gonna get a Guardians 3, right?
With Thor in it.
And with Thor in it, that's cool.
He's gonna be a joke character.
But
though,
that fucking fat ass fucking body, I was so mad, dude.
Why did they bring back that awkward scene where Star-Lord and Thor comparing dicks? Why did they bring it back again?
At the end, dude.
It was bad enough in the first one where they're like, I ate all the food in the fridge. Well, that's my food.
Yeah, that's my sandwich.
Yeah, it's like,
what? You guys didn't like that?
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Also,
I
thought it was weird how two characters who were really big both become kind of like joke characters at the same time.
Dude, I hated that. You know, the only
Star-Lord
character
was so much cooler in the first.
The only character to maintain their coolness for me throughout the whole movie, Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
He was the only one for me that I was like, dude, Rocket.
He wasn't angry enough.
It's not that he wasn't. I'm not gonna
he should be super angry, but yeah.
I think at this point, we've seen Angry Rocket for 2 Guardian movies, and then.
This should be the worst one, though. To be fair.
No, I think that after being pulled apart for years and years, and then traveling space alone, and then having them, and then having his family in the Guardians, and then seeing them disappear, I think at this point, he's just realistic. Because that scene when he's trapped underneath the beam.
I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. I can't. And he's freaking out. I was like, there was a moment even where I was like, dude, somebody save the fucking raccoon, dude. I was like, that's my dude. And I was so fucking freaking out that we were going to see Rocket die under a fucking beam like that.
Hulk was so much weaker.
Left the fridge open,
Oh shit, my bad.
He seems so much weaker than even regular Hulk.
I think because he's just older. He's just old.
Does Rocket age like normal, like a human?
Rocket? No, he doesn't age.
He doesn't?
No.
That's dope.
I don't think so.
Something weird. But I think Hulk was just like a weird.
He was like this is like.
He's like a lazy Hulk.
He didn't do anything.
He did.
The whole movie. The only thing he did was put the glove on and bring everybody back.
He didn't even.
That's what he did. That's all he did. Oh, yeah, he turned what's his name to a baby. That's all he really did was. Also, that's another thing that bothered me. You brought in Professor Hulk, and then you immediately were like, "Oh, he's not good enough. We need Tony Stark."
Yeah.
What was the point of putting him in the movie in the first place?
Because he doesn't know anything about quantum physics.
Yes, he does. He's a fucking genius, dude.
He didn't know anything. That wasn't his cup of tea.
Banner is a fucking genius, though, dude. So is Stark, though.
Did you guys like it how it was, or would you rather have them fucked with the time stone?
I really wanted to see Doctor Strange make him out.
Yeah.
I really thought they were going to do it.
What direction would I have preferred them go in?
Yeah.
With as far as time stone goes.
Yeah.
I think they nailed it with Doctor Strange only seeing one possibility, then we were going to see that possibility, right? That was hopefully what we were going to see, because it would be pretty hard to believe that we were going to see a Spider-Man movie based on after those events, and Spider-Man be going to Paris and kicking back. After everybody got killed, and
even though he's erased,
and things went wrong.
You know what's crazy? Also,
but I think that as far as the time stone goes, they did good with that aspect. I love seeing the ancient one, but I just don't get why they didn't explore. This is the one time I'm going to say, why didn't we see more backstory? What the fuck? Why didn't we see any kind of explanation for some cool things?
It's almost like they were like, this is too hard to explain, so we're just gonna gloss over it real quick.
Yeah.
Like Professor Hulk or
the Professor Hulk one. I spent 18 months doing this and now I'm good. Everybody's like, wow, it seemed like you were pretty worse off before this and it only took you 18 months to fix it. Like,
you were living this with your whole life.
Yeah, and all of a sudden in 18 months you realized, I'm going to do this.
I would rather watch like a 10-minute thing of Thor just drinking beer and eating pizza and getting fat than like the first 10-15 minutes.
Dude, a 10-minute scene of
I would
just
have loved
Thor.
to see him like popping popcorn with his lightning and
No,
getting
dude,
fat and stuff.
dude,
You know?
at first, I'll be real, 15 minutes of Thor in the beginning over an hour of what we've seen. 15 minutes of him just getting fat, drinking beer, and then cussing at that dude on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Threatening to...
Like Fortnite. Why the fuck did they do that?
I forgot about that.
They put Fortnite in it, dude.
I hated that.
Dude.
That should be allowed.
We all agree. That shit was fucking garbo, right?
And they did
I hated
exactly
it so
what I
much
said.
I like erased it
The
from
note-
my mind immediately.
Dude, the Note 3 was in it. That phone.
Oh, you
I was like,
got
I
it?
fucking
Yeah.
knew it. Remember,
Did you see all
he
the
answers
Galaxy?
the phone.
Yeah,
His wife's
you know what
calling.
they used a lot too is
Yeah.
Audi.
He's using that fucking
They use
phone.
Audi.
I'm surprised
the car.
Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't the Samsung
The
Fold.
newest models, you're right. I seen that.
Surprised it wasn't the Samsung
The one with the
Probably
reflective
'cause it
grills.
breaks.
Probably because it came out
Recently.
Before,
Yeah. Yeah.
What over like? Okay, let's talk about something a little bit more artsy crafty, artsy fartsy with this. What do you think of the acting in it? Yes, we're getting onto that too. I want to go to there too. That's why I brought up artsy fartsy. Yeah. What did you think of the acting? Like overall, like the individual experiences and them as a chemistry as a group. Did you have any? Did you have?
I didn't like Hulk.
Okay, yeah. Oh my God, good call.
I don't like Hulk.
Yeah, good. I didn't even think about it.
I definitely, like I said earlier, I think Scarlet. God, I keep trying to talk about Scarlet Witch, Black Widow. I think she hammed up that scene at the end. Honestly.
Scarlet Witch.
Right before she's about to die. No.
Oh,
Black Widow.
Oh, Black Widow.
When she's like, "Let me go," and she's like.
Yeah, and she gave her those sexy.
It was just like, just die. Just die. I'm already sick of you right now.
She was just, I think
she was hamming it up.
It was like a pity thing. Like
she was getting her fucking money's worth.
I don't think she was getting her money's worth.
No, I think she was saying her goodbye.
She was just trying to do what girls do.
Yeah.
They try to like drop her guard with that look, and you're just like,
I don't know.
No.
I just thought it was kind of weird.
That was a
We
bad
just saw
one.
that with
That was
Gamora.
a bad one though. The hammed up.
I
Like,
thought
would
it
we
was
say it's kind of overdone, or would we say it's like
overacted?
What about you? Tolerable, or just like?
It was tolerable. I think it was just something to do to drop his guard so she could do that.
What?
Well, he was gonna drop her anyway, right? You couldn't hold her.
Well, I mean,
he was barely stuck there.
He was probably gonna. I mean that.
He didn't want to let her go. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And then he probably could have tried to save her, do something.
What about Thanos? What about Thanos? His acting, Josh Brolin.
He wasn't in it enough for me.
Who wasn't? Yeah, because you've seen two versions of him. Have you seen? So do you think that he nailed both? Because you're seeing two different Thanos in
It
this
definitely
movie.
changed his character for the
Which kind
past
of answers
versions.
why he's a different colors in all the movies. Because people brought that up, like, why is he blue and one light,
And then
this
pink.
purple, and pink,
Yeah.
and like
Because it was made by different directors too.
different fucking visual.
Also,
artists,
one is like super old and one's super new. So, right? Because the one in the Guardian of the Galaxy is pretty old now. Didn't age well. If you go watch it now, you're like, holy shit, he looks crazy.
Dude.
He's in his chair and shit.
For the main part of that movie, for the main part of it, Thor was crap. I liked the acting of everybody.
I don't
Except
think
for
Thor's
Thor.
acting is bad.
Except it's not that his acting is bad. It's
They
that
just
I
gave him a
liked.
terrible role.
Yeah.
It's that
I
he got
think
a
so.
bad role, and that I really wanted to see the Thor when he walks up to Captain Marvel and he
Super
grabs the
confident.
hammer and he has the scar down his face, one fake eye, and he's fucking built like a brick house. I'm like, I see that Thor, and I remember that he killed Thanos, and then they removed his hand. Keep that in mind. We see him get
Yeah,
his
that was
head.
pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, that
That was
10
pretty sick.
again, a little 10-second clip of them just
Way to make
beheading
Infinity
and
War look kind of bad, though.
oh,
You just
man.
established, like, you just did in 5 seconds what you couldn't do for
Yeah, because
2
they had the
hours.
Batman.
Well, you
They had the Batman
think-
rule. They were not trying to kill something.
You gotta
They didn't.
think
They weren't
if-
in kill mode.
If Iron Man,
Yeah, they
Captain
lost everybody.
America, Spider-Man, everybody was on Earth fighting Thanos,
Yeah.
they probably would have beaten him. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good movie. It's one of
There's
those.
definitely some things I was like, wow, what the
Yeah.
that Fortnite thing really
And
is crazy.
Believe it or not, we've been shit talking a lot of it, but it's because we're so passionate about the movie. I think that the movie overall is totally worth a watch. Go see it. Like,
little long.
It's a little too long.
Maybe.
And
Don't
Ben
worry
gave
about
the
making it on
realistic.
time.
Ben, you gave the most realistic number for how long it was. In reality, I wanted it like 30 minutes too long is what you said in the car. You're like 30 minutes, and I was like, he's right. If you wanted to be really picky and only nail down 30 minutes, I would go through individual lines of that movie and be like, clip, and get like a whole bunch of garbage.
When I edit, I'm like, oh, this is like something that's like out of place,
really,
or like
it's
like a little quiet, like
dude,
a joke, and it's like
it
kind of comes out of nowhere. It's like,
yeah, and it doesn't, dude, fall flat. Yeah, like there are lines that fall flat in that movie.
One thing I want to say, going to the movies and seeing children and teens and like that's the majority of the people there.
Yeah,
it makes me see where they're trying to
target.
Where they're trying to target
and how successful they are at it. Yeah, they
literally got everybody to clap.
Let me put it this way:
I clap for Robert Downey Down syndrome. Okay?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, he did. And I even looked at you and gave you the head shake. I was like, Downey, I got
Downey.
You. But like, I'll be real. If you are into watching movies and a kid shoveling popcorn into their this movie's for you. But nonetheless.
Yeah, this is a good one. It was just I think I liked Infinity War more because they lost.
Yeah, and that was unexpected, and I mean, kind of.
The win was just too fast. It was weird.
Another thing was that made it anticlimactic is, there was earlier on I knew there was gonna be a Guardians 3, and a Spider-Man movie.
They announced it way early.
Black Panther 2. So it's just.
Can you hold on? Let's just. So another missed opportunity for me. When Thanos 2 comes back, Thanos B, and he goes to snap his fingers, and there's a moment when he's describing what he wants to do. He's like, I'm going to just erase everything and then create a new fucking thing.
Yeah.
So, if I'm not mistaken, at one point in time, Thanos snaps everybody out of existence and gets stuck with the... What's Thor's sister's name from Ragnarok? The Hell?
Helya?
Helya or whatever her name was. Yeah. She fucking... Let's find out. Hela, yeah.
Hela, there you go.
Yeah, Thor's sister Hela.
Ironically, Hela.
Or Hela, or... Yeah, I think it's Hela, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, she fucin'...
You think they would have tied her in, but...
Well, no, because in the comics, Thor snaps his out of Thanos snaps everything out of existence, everything, and it's blank, right?
Yeah.
Because he has a crush on like the
goddess of death,
and he wants to impress her, so he kills everybody. But in doing so, pisses her off because he floods her fucking world, her
full of everybody,
and she's fucking pissed, and like she's the one that ends up like getting it. For a moment, again, missed opportunity was like,
I thought
right when
she was supposed to be in it.
Right when he fucking snapped, that scene when he first was about to snap and Captain Marvel stops it, I was like, oh my god, we're about to see him fall in love, and this is gonna be like this all about the comics. It's gonna literally, they're all dead. She died on Ragnarok, but like.
Because she without the planet, she don't have power.
And on top of it, she got fucking... That whole place.
Because her power was like tied to it, and then they destroyed the planet, basically.
Yeah, so...
Which is a weird way to do it. But
I don't know. There were a bunch of those little things that I was like, why didn't they do this? I really wish they would have done this. But I still liked it. I'll rewatch the movie, but I'll
have to. 3 hours is a lot to just take in like that.
Yeah, dude,
I really do feel like that first half of the movie, though.
At least half hour, 45 minutes.
There's only a couple action scenes.
Good number. It really is a good number. I'm like, still like, if you could be picky about that movie. In fact,
how do kids like it?
You know what?
In
fact, you know what I want to do as a stoner moment. One day I want to fucking buy that movie and go in and be like, okay, 45 minutes, remove 45 pieces of clips that you could remove and make the movie that you want to make. Yeah. I'd be like do
a super cut yourself.
Yeah, dude, I'm kind of like, because I've
make the movie way better. People will do it on YouTube.
I've heard people do it on YouTube, and I'm too scared to watch because I know that they'll do better. And I'm like,
honestly, you'd be surprised.
All right, so we're gonna doing this for like an hour and 40 minutes, so let's wrap this up. What do you guys? You guys ready for more Marvel? You guys just kind of sick of Marvel, or
I'm sick of Marvel at the point of I just watched a 3-hour Marvel long movie.
You just sat down and watched it, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't ever want to do I don't ever want to watch another Marvel movie. But every time Marvel will come out, I'll watch it, and I will 100% rewatch.
I think we need to go back to small scale.
Endgame.
I think we need to go back to small scale.
This
is a little too big for me.
I want to get excited about
Infinity War was too big.
I see why they made it 3 hours, but at the same time, they did not spend enough time giving us backstories to where it would have been very important and very much needed. I would have liked a lot more time with Hulk. Or,
we didn't get anything with Hulk.
Bruce Banner and the Ancient One. That would have been cool to have an extra 2, 3, 5 minutes with them dialogue. Maybe she fucking takes him in the...
She gives it to him pretty quickly, but yeah.
Yeah. And then...
Compared to everyone else's scenes, his was fast.
And then just like...
You know what I mean? We see Captain America fight himself.
Instead of showing Hulk... I guess it's supposed to be like when you see Hulk, I guess it's supposed to be like, whoa, he's... like it's supposed to be like a funny moment, but I would have loved to see like... what's his name's Hulk? The Hulk movie...
Edward Norton?
Yeah, his Hulk... Where he's like
brooding
by himself,
yes,
just fucking.
That's what I was saying.
And
he's laboratory mouse fucking Hulk, but he is no longer like running from the people in the factory.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
Just like
that's
working
what,
on
I
his
feel
own
that.
thing.
Yeah, I feel that. Imagine if he's just for 5 years. The reason he decided to spend 18 months becoming Professor Hulk was because he knew for the next 5 or 8 years or whatever he was going to be sitting in that lab trying to figure out how to bring everybody back failing.
Yeah.
And he was just brooding. And so when everybody's seen him, that scene would have led to when he takes off his glasses.
And it kind of,
it
was just like a derailer. And then another thing was Thor. They did too many jokes.
No, they killed it. The body was enough for me. When I seen him,
they started it with
him fucked up.
Peter Quill though. Peter Quill had the fat boy bod before that, right?
This movie, for this movie, I'm talking about like the way they're trying to execute and everything. They didn't really do anything special with him, and
I agree.
Like they didn't give him. I would have been
the best part with him was the end. Where he fights. And you're like, it looks like Odin kind and he's going crazy. And he gets his ass fucking beat.
The fucking hammer.
Yeah.
He was doing good for a second, but kind of like Captain America, he was like, boom, 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 and then he's like, wait, my shield's broken! Yeah. Let's talk about that. Why the fuck did the shield break? That's impossible.
No, it's vibranium.
It's like the hardest substance in the world, right?
Known to Earth.
They're known to Earth only.
You gotta know Thanos has the
shield
best.
Don't break.
No, come on, you're thinking fucking...
It was a random sword.
You're thinking, come on, dude.
It wasn't no Infinity Gauntlet?
Well, that's nothing.
You're thinking Wolverine's adamantium skeleton, bro. That's indestructible.
Nah, dude.
That vibranium is made up for Marvel Universe
It can absorb any impact.
But that's not canon, like you said earlier about certain other things.
All of it wasn't canon.
Glad you could recognize that.
Shnerd review.
Shnerd review of a Shnerdy movie.
Endgame. Shnerd. This is the end of Endgame.
Shnerd or Snoop, guys. Shnerd or Snoop. For the Avengers Endgame.
Shnerd, I guess.
Shnerd? I'll Shnerd out to the movie.
I'm a Snoop it.
You're a Snoop it? I love it, dude. Snoop out, bro.
Guys, have a good one.